It's Scott, the frozen gamer. I'm whispering because everyone in my house is asleep, but I don't care about that. They're not going to wake up. I'm in a completely different room. I don't know why I was whispering about it. Anyways, today is a sad day in my life. We had to chop down 3 of our gorgeous ash trees today that were in our house. Not in our house, but in the front yard of our house. And that'd be really, really weird if they were inside the house. But no, they were in the front of the house. We had to chop them down. They had the ash borer problems. So city came over, said no more. But to make my day happier, 2 games in this list of 10 today are about nature. That makes me happy. So what is this list about? It's the top 100 most owned games that were published in 2023, according to Board Game Geek. And we are on numbers 70 through 61 today. What is it? I think that's like the 4th installation. I can't do math. Actually, I can do math. It's like what I really like to do. But what is it? 190? Yeah, it's fourth of the installation. So let's get started. So our number 70 game, being owned by 1,894 people, is Witchcraft. Witchcraft with an exclamation mark. It has a BGG ranking of 3,147, which put it at 82nd out of all games published in 2023. It has a 7.92 BGG rating, which put it 39th out of these 100 games that I am talking about. I have already done a video on Witchcraft, so you can go and watch that. I did a playthrough of the first scenario and the scenario book for the game. But in short, it's a solo-only game, and it is by Trevor Benjamin, Roger Tankersley, and David Thompson, published by Salt and Pepper Games. And what you're doing in this game is you are supposedly witches, and there is you draw 3 bad guys who are the town that are trying to convict you as witches, and you have to beat objectives that come out throughout the game. And you do that by playing points that each of the witches have. They have an easy side, or like a basic side, and then a super powerful side. But if you use the super powerful side, they're going to have to go to jail, and there's a good chance you may never see those witches for the rest of the game. So you usually use the basic side, and it's all about when you're going to use the powerful side to get the points you need to beat the objective. And then not only do you have to beat the objective, there's like little minions that are guarding each objective. And you have to get those guys beat as well, because they're going to come back and attack you and make things really difficult for you going forward. It's a super, super fun solo-only game. Watch my video of it, because it goes through and you'll be able to see exactly how it plays through the scenario, the easiest scenario out of all of them. There is just the basic way you can play too. You don't even need to do the scenarios. You can just play a basic rules game. The scenario kind of breaks it down and makes different rules based off of the basic rules of the game. And yeah, super cool game. And if you like solo games, definitely one you should look at. Number 69 is Illiterate. It has 1,895 owns, which is 1 more than Witchcraft. It was ranked 3,627 when I created this list, which put it at 115th out of all games published in 2023. It has a 7.43 BGG rating, which put it 78th on this list, out of the games in this list. And so what is Illiterate? It's a word game. It's a fast-paced cooperative word game where spelling is only half the battle. And the reason spelling is only half the battle is because you have to, it's not just spelling like in Scrabble, let's say, or Boggle, or Perquacky, if you know that old game. And what you're doing, though, you have this set of tiles, and there is a book you want to try to bind. And so to bind the book, you have to basically beat the objective that's on that book. So the objective might be like something, I'm just making this up, like create 3 out of all the letters you have, create 3 words that are desserts. But the vowels can only be the yellow letters. But not only do you have to create those, that's how you bind the book and eventually beat the game, but you can spell regular words too that have nothing to do with being a dessert. I could spell the word book if I wanted to, and that will help me, but it's not going to help me beat the objective of the game. And then after you're done, and it's all timed, so you have 3 minutes, I believe, to do all of that, and you can trade letters with other people playing. It's a cooperative game, so you can trade letters with other people if you need to, and borrow their letters, but after the 3 minutes are up, then the literati come out and they try to make things difficult for you, and they will take letters away or do all sorts of bad things that can screw you up and hamper your progress in the game of beating your objectives that you need to beat to win. And that is Illiterati. Seems really cool, like really cool word games. If you like word games, that's one to think about. Next up is number 68. And it's 68 because 1,906 people own the game. And it has a BGG ranking of 3,136, which is actually only 11 higher than what Witchcraft was, which I just talked about 2 games ago. It has a BGG ranking out of all games that were published this year as 81st. And it has a 7.46 BGG rating, which put it 75th out of this list of 100 games. And did I say what game it is already? It's Cosmoctopus. Cosmoctopus. What a crazy theme. Earn tentacles to prove your devotion to the cutest cephalopod in the cosmos, which is this purple plastic octopus who's flying around the cosmos. And basically, you're going around, you're racing to get 8 tentacles in your part of the cosmos, and you're doing that by playing cards and collecting resources and all sorts of stuff like that, building a card engine. And once you get 8, you have won over the Cosmoctopus, and you put him down, and those 8 tentacles become his or hers or its. And what you do, I mean, that's what you do in the game. So what I have, this is a really light game. I think it's like around a 2 on the BGG rating complexity scale out of 5. And every time I've watched this game or like tried to learn the rules to this game, it's just like my brain just does not connect to it. It's a game I want to try, but I really think I'll need someone to teach it to me because I'm just not getting it until I actually get my hands on the pieces and the cards. I just think I need to sit down and actually play this one, which is bizarre because it's a really light game. So I don't know all the ins and outs of it because I just struggle with this one. But one thing about the game that I can say is it looks awesome. It's the art's by George Doutsipoulos, nice Greek name there, I believe. And the octopus just coming out of the earth, the tentacles are just like coming out of the table, and the cards are all like 1960s sci-fi style, almost like a movie poster style from the 60s. It's got a really, really cool table presence. I do want to play the game. That is Cosmoctopus. Next up at number 67 is our first nature game. I told you there was going to be 2 of them, and that's Naturopolis by Button Shy Games. And who designed Naturopolis from Button Shy Games? It's Steven Aramini, Danny Devine, and Paul Kluka. So Naturopolis has 1,993 people owning it. It has a BGG ranking of 3,596, which put it at 114th for the year of 2023. It's got a BGG rating of 7.87, which put it 44th out of all 100 games on this list. So Naturopolis, the blurb says, first there were cities, then there were farms, and next up is nature. Because this goes into a trio of games, Sprawlopolis, Agropolis, and now Naturopolis. You can play them together if you get like a connector set, or you can just play them individually, and they're all very similar games. So this is Button Shy Games. That means there's only 18 cards in this entire game. That's it. That's all you're dealing with, at least in the base game. You can add on some extras with some of the expansions. But what you do in this game is you first flip over 3 cards, and it's going to give you your objective and how you score for that objective on each of those 3 cards. So you're going to have 3 objectives you're trying to create with the remaining 15 cards in the deck. But not only do those 3 cards give you your objectives, it also tells you how to win the game, because each card has a point total on it, and you add up all the points of the 3 cards. So if it was like a 10, a 5, and a 2, you have to get 17 points by the end of the game to win the game. 17 or more points. So that's like a really cool system in itself. You're basically playing you are playing 15 cards throughout the game, and you lay them down, and each card is separated into 4. So here's your card. You got 4 sections here. One is going to have, in this game, a gray color, which is mountains. One's going to have a green, which is probably like forest. One's blue, which is water, and then one's pink. I'm not sure what that one is. And there's always those 4 colors. They might be in different orientations on the card, but you'll play it down, and you're going to try to complete objectives like let's get diagonal mountains together. Let's get the river to do whatever. Let's get campsites around certain features in the cards. All the while, there's roads going through the cards, and those subtract points. And that's the game. And you're just laying out 1 card at a time. You can cover up some of the cards. So you can cover up a half a card or a quarter of a card or whatever if that's not helping you. And you need to get rid of, like, let's say, part of a street, or you need to get the mountain in a certain spot, but you can cover up another card. Or you can just lay it right next to each other, domino style. Super, super thinky game for only having 18 cards in it, and 15 you're actually playing with. It, like, broke... I own Agropolis, and it broke my brain forever. It took me forever to beat the game. 15 cards. And it's so hard and so thinky. The design of this game... of these games, these Opolis games, is just genius. They're super cheap. Get it. Just get it from Button Shy. You will not regret it. And that is, in this case, Natureopolis. Next up, number 66 is Evacuation 2083. People owned it. It has a 1,930 BGG ranking, which put it at 44th for the year. A 7.73 BGG rating, which put it 54th out of these 100 games. Number 66 in owns, and that is Evacuation by Vladimir Suchi and Delicious Games. Evacuate the Earth with spaceships before it burns down and populate the new world, and that is what you're doing in this game. Vladimir Suchi makes very fairly heavy games, and this is no exception. Big, crunchy Euro games. So, what are you doing in Evacuation? The title kind of says it all. You have the old Earth that's dying, and you have the new planet that you're trying to get to, and you're taking resources and people and whatnot from the old Earth, and you then have to transport them over to the new location, and everything you do in the old location has to be done in the old location. You can't like create like a stadium in the old location then magically have it appear in the new location. Nope, you have to get it on a spaceship, travel it over, and then build it over onto the new location. Super cool theme. The board actually looks really cool on it. And yeah, if you like crunchy Euros, this is definitely one to think of. Evacuation, Vladimir Suchi, great designer. Next up is the other nature game. Number 65 of the year is Trailblazers by Ryan Courtney and Bitewing Games. 2,090 people owned it at the beginning of the year when I created this list. It has 2,671 BGG ranking, which ranked at 63 for the year out of all games that were published in 2023. It has a 7.5 BGG rating, which put it at 69th out of these 100 games, and both of those are right around the 65th rank that it got for being the 65th most owned game of the year. So what are you doing in Trailblazers? Well, it has similar card play, which is ironic to the other nature game of Natureopolis, where you can play cards and you can play them domino style, or you can play them and cover them up. In this game, though, you're trying to create the best trails that you need to do. There's going to be different objectives, and you're going to try to complete those objectives by creating paths. And there's going to be a trail for hiking, there's a trail for biking, I believe, and a trail for kayaking. And so what you're doing is you start out with the first turn of your game. You can pick one of the types of trails you want to build, and you just work on that for the first round of the game. There's 4 rounds in the game. So that's fairly simple right off the bat. You're trying to get that objective on that one. And then you go to the next round of the game, and you have to add another type of trail to it. And then on the third round, you add the third trail, and the fourth round, you're just trying to complete all of the trails and get them to be maximized before the game ends. And how do you get the cards to do make the trails is drafting style. You'll take 2, then you pass them to your left, take 2 more. After you've placed those ones, you take 2 more, and then place those ones down and pass the stack to the left. This game looks so dang fun. It's really light. It looks really, really fun. I actually didn't know about it before this, and I added it to my wish list of many, many, many games because this one actually looks really, really, really cool and fun and light, and I could play it with anyone. So that is Trailblazers. Next up, in the number 64 spot for most owned games of the year, 7 more than Trailblazers at 2,097 people owning it, is Undaunted, The Battle of Britain by Trevor Benjamin and David Thompson. The second time they were on the list because they were on the list with Witchcraft as well at number 70. And this is published by Osprey Games, though. So the stats for Undaunted, as I already said, 2,097 people have owned it, which has a BGG ranking of 2,927, which put it at the 74th out of all games published in 2023. It has an 8.1 BGG rating, which puts it at 26 out of this list. People love their Undaunted. What is Undaunted? You don't know what Undaunted is? This is like the 3rd or 4th or 5th game in the series. I don't know. There's a lot of them, though, at this point. And this one pit the RAF, the Royal Air Force, against the Luftwaffe, I don't know if I pronounced that right, the German Air Force, over the beaches, fields, and cities of England. So Undaunted is a deck building game. You're creating a deck, and in this case, they're all planes. Or they're not all planes, but you got your planes. That's the key of the game, and you're flying them around a map. And there's many different scenarios, but in short, you're flying them around a map and doing like old school Air Force dogfighting against each other, the Germans versus the Brits. And some of the planes shoot in different directions, which is kind of cool. It's Undaunted. It's more Undaunted. Planes this time, though. To me, that's the most exciting of all of them. So I need to get my hands on this one because I've never played Undaunted at all, and I want to. I don't like deck building, though, but I still want to play it. Undaunted, Battle of Britain, number 64. Number 63 is The City of the Great Machine. Let's say that again, because I stumbled on it. I stumbled on saying machine. I said machine. The City of the Great Machine by designer German Tikhomorov, and Crowd Games is the publisher. City of the Great Machine stats are 2,101 people own it, which put it at 63 on this list, number 63. 2,853 BGG ranking, which put it 70th of the year. It has a 7.88 BGG rating, which put it 42nd out of these 100 games. And what is City of the Great Machine? It's one versus many strategy game set in the Victorian steampunk universe. And it has all the charms of a one versus many game, hidden movement, secrecy, where the one team of many can talk, but everything they say obviously is going to be heard by the, in this case, the Great Machine, who's the one of the one versus many. It has asymmetry because the machine versus the heroes, which are the group of people, have different objectives that they're trying to complete. What are those? Well, in thematic reasons, it is the Great Machine is trying to create like a master plan, and to do that, they have to get everyone behind it. So they're trying to make the citizens happy, while the heroes are trying to kind of cause unrest with the citizens of this steampunk town. And their steampunk city, I guess it would be bigger than a town. And they're trying to create discontent and make it so that the Great Machine doesn't get their way. And what's really cool about this one is that in case you don't have a group of players, or you always fight over who's going to be the one, if you do have the group of players that like to play these style of games, you can play it cooperatively, because the Great Machine, can be AI in the game. So that way you can play it cooperatively, or you can play it solo, which makes me interested. So that is The City of the Great Machine by German Tikhomorov. Next up at number 62 is the Isotherian Guard. 2,111 people own it, 62 in the most owned ranking here. It's got a 1,787 BGG ranking, which put it at 38 for the all games that were published in 2023. It has a huge 8.87 BGG rating, which puts it at number 3 out of all games in this 100 list. It's the third highest rated game, even though it was only owned at the 62nd most game of 2023. This game is a huge campaign game. It says, explore Isophar as you strive to cleanse the land of an ancient corruption. It's designed by Eric Bitterman, Sean Creighton, David Yanchik, and is published by Sky Kingdom Games. I'm going to just shout out Mohammed Faisal Fikri and Tibor Ozvegi because I think the art is really gorgeous on it. I think the game board is stunning. Kind of reminds me of Bitoku, but like less cluttered and messy. Just kind of this beautiful look to it. This is a huge campaign game. But what's interesting about this one is it's only for solo or 2-player co-op. And so if you have a large group that always meets together, or 3 or 4 people being the large group, this is not the game for you. If you like to play solo or just have like a friend or a partner that you always play with, this is the campaign game for you. And it's huge. It's open world. You're going to have different guys in your guard going through different there's multiple campaigns in the game, and you'll start with a couple of the guards in one campaign, then you'll have to switch into new ones later, if I remember correctly. And it's just a huge game. There's chip pulling for battling and for other parts throughout the game. Bad guys will throw in chips into the bag that causes things to go wrong for you. This game is just chock full of campaign goodness. And if you like campaign games, definitely look this one up. The people that have played it have obviously loved it, giving it an 8.8 rating. That's off of 799 ratings. Currently, it's still at an 8.8. And yeah, this game is just loved by the people that have played it. So I have given up on campaign games and legacy games. I'm just out on them right now because I can't get them to the table, and I realize I don't enjoy campaign games that much solo. So not the game for me. I wish it was because it sounds so awesome. That's the Isotherian Guard. Hopefully it is a game for you. And the last one on this list is a game for me. This game is made for me, and somehow I didn't have it in my... Oh, I did have it on my wish list, but somehow I have not played it yet. And that's a shame because this game is made for me. And that is Reiner Knizia. The reason I probably stayed away from it to begin with, because I played a lot of his games, not my favorite designer, but this one looks like it will be a huge hit for me. So that is Zuvadis, by Reiner Knizia, and published by Bitewing Games. Is that their second time on this list? Bitewing Games, let me check. Yeah, nope. I might be making that up. No, it is Trailblazers. Bitewing, two games, Trailblazers and Zuvadis on this list. So it's number 61 most owned game because it has 2,147 people that owned it when I created the list. BGG ranking of 1,793, which put it at the 40th highest BGG ranked game that was published in 2023. 7.79 rating, which put it at 48th for its BGG rating out of these 100 games. So it's rated and ranked a little higher than it is owned. And what is Zuvadis? You merit your way into the zoo's star exhibit through crafty politicking. And that is the game. Like, seriously, the game is played above the table. You start with everyone gets their own little animal in the zoo, each with its unique power that you can only use twice in the game. And you start at the bottom together, and you have to work your way up to that star exhibit part of the zoo. But the only way that you can work your way up is to get the votes of other people or other animals to allow you to move up towards that star exhibit. If you don't get the votes, you can't move. So there is a ton of negotiation. It is a mean game because there's a ton of direct negotiation happening, and you could just be shut down. So that's the game. You're trying to get votes to move towards that star exhibit. How do you get votes? Negotiate with other people at the table. I love that style game. I love negotiation games. Favorite game's Cosmic Encounter, full of negotiation. The game looks so dang fun. Looks so dang fun and chaotic and mean and stressful and all the feels that you get from a negotiation game. If you like negotiation games like I do, then this might be one to try. Art is also by Quancha Memoria, who I love. Game looks gorgeous. The animals look great. The animal cards, your little protective screen that you get, looks great. The box cover, I think, looks great. I know that's all subjective, but yeah, it's a bit of a stunner. So that is number 61, Zooborns. Started talking about nature in this video, ending with animals. Animals need nature to live. So we kind of came full circle there in a very not smooth way. So that's it. We're going to end there. Next, I'll go over number 60 through 51. Oh yeah, my favorite game of 2023 is in those 10 games. So that's going to be the next one. But that was it for 70 through 61. Peace. Stay cool. I'll see you next time. Peace. I need to buy a new tree for my front yard.